Welcome to Knife Chats. If you like this video, please take a moment to leave a comment. Thank you.
Welcome to another episode that looks at inexpensive modern folders, or as I like to say, is it a Craptical tactical or a practical tactical? And today we're going to look at this little puppy right up here, the Flying Falcon, the Vulture 2. And guess who makes it? That's right, this is a frost knife. Should be fun looking at. Now, if anyone's familiar with it, they often sell this as like the Eagle Eye or something like that. This knife has so many names to it you can't even keep track of it. It's got this eye hole here that's supposed to be the eye of the eagle, and anyone who looks at it can kind of see that maybe this is supposed to be like a Spyderco or something. But trust me, it's not a Spyderco. This is one of those knives that Jim Frost sells in his big packages where he's got like a dozen of these, a dealer dozen of these. And you're going to pay anywhere from like 99 cents a piece or like at tops like $1.39 for one of these beautiful knives. And what do you get for that? Well, there we go. You get China. You get the Frost logo. See there? Ooh, look at that. See? Real clear Frost cutlery. Surgical steel. You can't beat that, can you? And look at that. Look at that. Wow. Can you see that? Look at that wobble. It's okay. You know, that's called flex. You know, ain't that fantastic? You're getting everything you paid for with this knife. You notice the plastic handle? Yeah, it's like some kind of plastic. And you got the lock back here, so you can like shake it maybe and it'll close, yeah. But hey, it only cost Jim Frost what? Well, he's selling it for anywhere from $1 to $1.39. So my bet is this knife cost him to get made in China maybe a nickel. By the time he gets all of his overhead, you know, with his studio and his program and the licensing fees for satellite television and everything else, I'm guessing he's probably making anywhere from 25 cents to 50 cents on each one of these knives. Probably closer to the 25-cent range. And he's telling you to try and sell them for $5. Because if you're paying anywhere from like $1 to $1.50 for one of these knives, you know, when you get all the shipping done and everything else, and you've got a dealer dozen of them, plus another 100 knives that you're going to have to sell because there's usually like 100 knives for $100. You're going to have to try and sell this knife for $5 just to break even almost once you get the postage and everything done, because you also have your own overhead and this knife is going to be sitting around. Now, how much did I pay for this knife? Well, actually, I should say, how much did I pay for these knives? $1, both of them, at a flea market, because it was buy one, get one free. The guy was just trying to dump them. He could not get rid of these things. At one time, he was trying to sell them for $5, then it went down to $3, then to $2, and then, you know, it was really buy one, get one free, and he had a price tag of $1 on them because it was the end of the day, and he just did not want to put them back in the truck. How good are they? Well, you already saw the blade wobble. I could probably pop the blade if I tried hard enough. I don't know if it'd break or not. What I will do is probably go and pound this into some wood someday and see what it'll do. But let's see, can it cut paper? I bet it can cut paper. Let me try. I don't know. I'm just going to jam it in there. Yeah, see, it'll cut. It'll, yeah, you know, if you plunge it in there and pull, yeah, see, it'll sort of cut paper. I don't know what else it'll cut. I haven't really tried cutting much with it because, well, you can see the build. I don't want to do too much shaking because every time I shake it, it gets a little bit looser. I could probably wiggle it until it breaks. Hear that? Man, talk about action. A lot of blade action. I bet you it'll open faster once I wiggle it a lot. And the lock is pretty strong though. I mean, I think the lock is, yeah, the lock is pretty good. I don't think it'll close easily. You do have the finger coil, just like you got on a Spyderco. Look at that. You can grab it just like a Spyderco. Wow, how cool is that? And you got a good long handle there. Let's see, how long is the knife? Oh, let's give it Jim Frost measurements. Look at that. It is 8 inches long. And with a 7-inch blade or 6.5-inch blade. You know, this is a big knife. It even looked big on the television. Remember how big it looked on the TV? Yeah. There you go. The Vulture 2, the Flying Falcon. How much is it worth? Well, let me put it this way. Jim Frost made a profit on it, and he sold it for $1. Really? How much do you think it's worth? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I think it's safe to say that the Frost Vulture 2 or the Eagle Eye or whatever Jim Frost is going to be calling this knife this week is pretty much Craptical. It's a very cheap knife, very inexpensive, poorly made, and the problem is it is sold in truck stops and flea markets across the nation, and it does quite well selling there. And really, that's what its purpose is just to be a cheap, crappy knife. And while we sit here and crack jokes about the knife and laugh about the knife, Jim Frost is laughing his way to the bank because he's selling so many of these things. That's a fact of life. But on the plus side, because this knife is only $2 to $5 usually at wherever you're going to buy it, this is often like the first knife that a young boy will end up picking up simply because it is so cheap. And let's face it, it does look nice. I mean, why shouldn't it look nice? It's basically a rip-off of a Spyderco, sort of like a Delica or something. And so, you know, the kid sees the Delica out there, sees this knife and says, wow, I want one. And he picks it up for $2 to $5 and he's happy with it and he's proud of it. And that brings us to our responsibility as responsible knife collectors. And how do we handle that? That this is a knife that some young kid might own and he's proud of this knife. Rather than discourage him and tell him that he's got a piece of crap in his hand, it's more important for us to tell him it's a nice knife, show him a better knife, or possibly even give him a better knife and say, have you tried this knife? And if he likes it, you know, it doesn't have to be like a real Spyderco, but if it's a family member or something, maybe you'll give him something like a Ganzo, or you'll give him a bird or something to replace the Frost Vulture 2, and let him see the difference between something of a little bit better quality versus the Craptical knife that he picked up at the flea market or at a truck stop. I think that's more the important thing for us to do as responsible knife collectors. Let the kid have the eye candy like the Frost Vulture 2. Do not ridicule him for having that knife, but encourage him to move on to something better. Because once he moves on to something better than this, then maybe that will create another knife collector out there. And that's really what we're looking at, is getting more knife collectors. So sure, it's easy to say this is Craptical, but if this is a knife that can create a new knife collector, then I'm all for it. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Knife Chats, and if you did, please like and share it with your friends. Comments are always welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode of Knife Chats is up online. Thanks again. Hope to see you soon.